In the second on point, we look at how everyday snacks like jalebi and samosa could soon have a statutory warnings. In the third on point, we look at the unanswered questions in the AI 171 preliminary probe report. Now let's take a quick look at the headlines. Supreme Court emphasizes need for citizens to value freedom of speech and practice self-regulation in social media posts. Shumanshu Shukla and Axiom 4 mission crew begin return journey to Earth set to splashdown off the coast of California on 15th July. Jaishankar meets Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, hope SCO will uphold policy on zero tolerance against terrorism. SC Hayes plea on Nimisha Priya's execution in Yemen, petitioner says blood money has been arranged. Odisha police arrest Principal Dilip Kumar Ghosh in Balasore student self-immolation case. Akasa airplane hit by a cargo truck at Mumbai airport. San Rachela model from Puducherry dies by suicide after allegedly consuming 50 tablets following a family dispute. In a first, Tamil Nadu government appoints 4 IAS officers as official spokespersons. Gujarat tourist dies in paragliding mishap in Dharamsala. In a defiant mood, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Omar Abdullah on Monday scaled the wall of the Nakshband Sahib graveyard to mark Martyrs Day. It was to pay tribute to the 22 protesters, It was to pay tribute to the 22 protesters killed on July 13, 1931. A day before, Kashmiri leaders and ministers were put under house arrest. Now, as soon as Omar's cavalcade reached the old city, he got off the vehicle and walked to the graveyard, only to find the gates locked. The Chief Minister then climbed over the main gate and scaled the wall to enter the graveyard premises and pay his tributes. He later addressed the media about the incident.
हमें कल यहाँ आके फातिहा पढ़ने की इजाजत नहीं दी गई और मैंने कंट्रोल रूम को बताया कि मैं यहाँ आना चाहता हूँ फातिहा पढ़ने के लिए। मिनटों के अंदर अंदर मेरे गेट के बाहर बंकर लगा और रात के 12-1 बजे तक उसको हटाया नहीं गया। आज मैंने इनको बताया ही नहीं, बिना बताए मैं गाड़ी में बैठा और इन्होंने इनकी बेशर्मी देखिए। आज भी इन्होंने हमें यहां तक रोकने की कोशिश की। कहने के लिए तो ये कहते हैं ये आजाद मुल्क है, लेकिन बीच बीच में ये लोग समझते हैं हम उनके गुलाम हैं। हम किसी के गुलाम नहीं हैं। हम अगर गुलाम हैं तो यहां के लोगों के गुलाम हैं। हम अगर खादिम हैं तो यहां के लोगों के खादिम हैं। ये लोग वर्दी पहन के कानून का इस तरह तहस नहस करें, ये बात मेरी समझ में नहीं आता। लेकिन हमने इनकी कोशिशों को नाकामयाब किया। इन्होंने हमें पकड़ने की कोशिश की, हमारे झंडे को फाड़ने की कोशिश की, लेकिन इनकी तमाम कोशिशें आज नाकामयाब रहीं। हम आए, हमने फातिहा पढ़ा।
हम लोग उनको मार्टियर्स नहीं मानते, वो विद्रोही थे। वो लोग जो कश्मीरी पंडित समाज के लोग थे, या वो भी जो लोग भी जो देशभक्त लोग वहां पर उस वक्त मारे गए थे, उनके बारे में ये लोग क्यों नहीं बोलते? उनके बारे में बोला जा रहा है जो विद्रोही थे और महाराजा धीराज के विरुद्ध जो थे वो खड़े हुए थे। आप ये मानकर चलिए कि जो भी पुलिस ने किया है अंडर रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन के अंतर्गत किया है। मैं भी ऐसी परिस्थितियों में अगर कुछ करता तो डेफिनेटली पुलिस मुझे भी रोकती, और अगर पुलिस ने उन्हें रोका है तो वो गलत नहीं किया।
Omar later said that he was grappled by the police during the visit, but the important thing here to understand is what is the big issue. Every year, July 13 is observed by many in JNK as the Martyrs' Day to remember the 22nd people shot dead by the Dogra army outside Srinagar Central Jail. Abdullah compared the incident to the 1919 Jallianwala Bagh massacre. In a next post, he said the 13th July massacre is our Jallianwala Bagh. The people who laid down their lives did so against the British. What a shame that true heroes who fought British rule are today projected as villains only because they were Muslims. This is the position which Omar Abdullah took. The BJP has taken a different position, and you heard the bite of the BJP president. My big question here is it correct to compare July 13, 1931 firing with Jallianwala massacre? And on this I am joined by Aditya Raj Kaul, Senior Executive Editor. Subsequently, I will be joined by Colonel Tej Tikku. I will be joined by Sujata Bashir Bakal. I will be joined by Danish Iqbal, political analyst and former spokesperson, Jammu Kashmir National Conference. But I will straight away go to Aditya Raj Kaul. Aditya, just break it down for us. Omar Abdullah said, this is our Jallianwala Bagh.
You know, apart from being a journalist, I am also a Kashmiri on this debate. So I think, personally speaking, I have great appreciation and respect for the Chief Minister and for his very pragmatic and logical approach ever since he took office. But I would very strongly differ from the kind of position that he has taken. I think Omar really needs a history lesson, not from a Kashmiri, not from a Hindu, but from any neutral historian to tell him the reality of 1931. If he is comparing 1931 with Jallianwala Bagh, tell me where exactly was this kind of a freedom struggle being fought? Who was this, protesting? And who were they protesting against? What is the reality of Abdul Qadir, who was planted by the British out there to divide the communities, to divide and rule, and also create a kind of a rebellion against Maharaja Hari Singh? And if at all it was a kind of a genuine democratic protest by the Muslims of Kashmir, then why exactly were the Kashmiri Hindus attacked? Why were there women abducted and killed? Why were there protests, violent protests that led to arson, plundering and attacking and burning of the Hindu shops in Amira Kadal, in Maharajganj, in as far as Vicharnag and other places in Srinagar and the adjoining areas? So the reality of the matter is that for decades together, ever since 1931, a wrong history has been taught, and the Kashmiri politicians have fooled the masses, just like they fooled the masses on Article 370 and 35A, telling them that there was some kind of a Muslim rebellion happening against the Maharaja in Jammu and Kashmir. Kartikeya, in reality what it was happening was a pan-Islamist agenda.
Okay.
They wanted to unseat the Maharaja and create some kind of a problem. Lastly, in my hands right now, I don't know if it would be visible on the camera.
I'm getting this produced.
On screen.
On screen, it will be there in 2 minutes time.
This is a clipping from July 18th, 1931, done by the Tribune newspaper. The title says the Kashmir riot, harrowing scenes, schoolboys hurled into river. And it then gives a detail of how there was a trial of Abdul Qadir that was underway in the central jail in Srinagar near Hari Parbat. And immediately there were more than 1,000 mob of Muslim men who came in, and there was a riot that was deliberately planned in that area. And when police tried to control the mob, there was a mob attack on the jail, and that led to firing, and at least 22 people died subsequently there and at Maharajganj and other places. But the reality is, if it was a genuine protest, as Omar claims and Omar says that these are martyrs, then why immediately did they next attack the Kashmiri Hindus all across Srinagar? Their entire houses and business shops were attacked. So, my question here being, throughout the history, what happened in 1990 with the Kashmiri Hindus, I think it has a history to 1931 else also. Because the reality is they did not want Kashmiri Hindus there. They saw Kashmiri Hindus as Indian first. And that is why in 1931 itself, the attacks, the plundering and the ethnic cleansing began, which led to subsequent final exodus in 1990.
Okay. Opening comments from Colonel Tikku?
Well, I am really surprised that Omar Abdullah should say that it is Jallianwala Bagh. Obviously, he neither knows the history of Jallianwala Bagh, nor does he know the history of what happened on July 13, 1931. And you also used your word, which I very strongly object to. You said that Dogra army. It was not a Dogra army. It was the army duly constituted by the Maharaja. It was recognized by the British Empire, and the J&K was part of the states which were under the British Empire, though they were autonomous. So to use the term that Dogra army, it was not Dogra army. As a matter of fact, in Vizarnag, when Kashmiri Pandits were attacked, it was a Muslim colonel of Dogra Raja who took the palace guard to save the Kashmiri Pandits. Now coming to the particular incident that you are referring to, it was a huge mob which attacked Central Jail because they did not want the trial of an accused under various serious acts of the existing laws to take place. And as a matter of fact, because they were not allowed to get inside the jail where the trial was to be held, they attacked the guard room, burned the guard room, and took 4 policemen, apprehended them, and it was only after great deal of trouble that they were released. But incidentally, after that, they still continued to attack the jail premises and the trial could not be held. It was only after great deal of persuasion that they refused to accept the orders of the government. The session judge was there, the superintendent of police came there, almost every big person was there to persuade them not to resort to violence, and then police had to resort to firing. They were a bunch of hooligans who did not allow the law to function in its proper form. And what happened immediately thereafter, as Aditya rightly pointed out, where was the need for them to target Kashmiri Pandits and Hindus? You know, he did not mention there was a place called Kanikut in Badgam district. 9 members of Kashmiri Pandit family were axed to death, and this is on record. And when subsequently a court of inquiry was held, a commission was ordered into the whole thing, it was clearly brought out that the British resident Wakefield, who was in charge of police and home department, had connived with Sheikh Abdullah to create this problem for Maharaja Hari. Though ostensibly, just a minute, though ostensibly it was against the Maharaja, it was against the Dogra rule. Why were Kashmiri Pandits and non-Muslims targeted?
Colonel Tiku, let me just take opening comments from everyone. I'll come back. I'm not ending the debate. Danish Iqbal, to you, political analyst and former spokesperson, Jammu and Kashmir National Conference. Is it correct to call it a Kashmiri Jallianwala Bagh episode, which Omar Abdullah said, sir?
Well, Karthike, I would not go into the debate of history. It's something that the 2 gentlemen who spoke before me, they have also cleared the air to some extent. But I would rather leave it to more organized, more detailed research to a fair degree of expertise that comes with the studying of history as a subject. But Karthike, I'll tell you something distinct here. My problem with all this is a little more fundamental, which is that why would this typical political class that have probably ran the most inefficient governments over the last 70 years, the same political class that have slaughtered thousands and thousands of Kashmiri young men and women, why would they today suddenly discover that these are our martyrs? I mean, for God's sake, why would the same people who have run dispensations that have had to walk over thousands of dead bodies to make up their political careers, why would they today want to ride a moral high horse by claiming these martyrs? As I said, I'm not going into the debate that which martyrs belong to the whom. It's something that this discussion will go on, and there's probably no end to that. But my problem is very simpler. Why is somebody like Omar Abdullah, under whose watch 120 boys were killed, it is as recent as 2010? Yes. Why is he tomorrow acting on such a high moral pedestal, as if that he is some kind of angelic phenomenon, dropping down from heavens and trying to claim the martyrs. Sadly, sorry to say, but this seems to be a clear stage drama. If it's not the drama, then what else it is?
Are you saying that
For
Omar
past-
Abdullah? Are you saying, sir, Omar Abdullah did drama there? It's a political act.
Well, Karthikeya, it hardly matters. What matters is for the vast majority of Kashmiris, and I'm sure Aditya will agree with me, for vast majority of Kashmiris, this is a drama. Whether it's been actually staged like a drama, whether it's actually being scripted like a drama, or it's not, it is technically a drama. The same class, the same mercenary political class who would become MLAs and chief ministers on a 2% boycott vote, who led probably the most inefficient governments in the entire world, under whose watch 3 lakh Pandit brothers and sisters have had to leave the valley, and who they made absolute joke for the last 30 years. They are today coming in, discovering their martyrs. My God, are these the same people who've suddenly discovered martyrs and presenting themselves as kind of some angelic phenomenon who've descended from heavens? This is something each and every Kashmiri. Karthikeya, hold on 30 seconds, 10 seconds. It's, Karthikeya, there's a huge difference between the debate in Srinagar and between a debate in Delhi. In Delhi, you're sitting in Delhi and you're viewing it, you're comparing it between Jallianwala Bagh and between what
No,
Umar
I'm
and
not doing
others
it.
would
No,
call
no,
it.
let me be very clear. Okay, you say it as a sense of debate point. I did not do it. It was spurned by the tweet of Omar Abdullah, and then I spoke to my colleague Aditya Raj Kaul, and we had a long conversation before I decided that this is going to be my first debate. Perhaps I wanted to do something different, but then I thought that maybe it is time to put the history in perspective. You don't get to read that in CBSE text, and it is for this reason I invited all of you.
And to be fair, Karthikeya, we reached out to the national conference. We called their spokespersons.
Absolutely.
All their phones are unreachable, switched off. So they don't want to come on television, but perhaps wanted to do this drama.
So that is why I'm taking very, very gradually. I've involved everyone. At best, I tried to democratize all the opinion. Sujata Bashir Bakar also joined me. Madam, your opening comment. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, what happened on the 13th of July 1931, it's a mark of respect for what was supposed to be happened yesterday. It was just a mark of respect. But today what Omar Abdullah did, it's not acceptable. It's not. Because he's a chief minister, he's representing the state, and whatever it is, a UT or a state he's representing. But this is all a drama. They could have done it yesterday also, late hours, early in the morning. But today what they did, it's a drama, just an emotional things. They are trying to motivate the people that we are with you. There are a lot of things which can be done it. But yet today what they did, it's an emotional drama, nothing else. And the martyrs we did it, yes, they are our martyrs, but the Jallianwala Bagh and 13th July is not the same thing. Jallianwala Bagh is a totally different story, and this is a totally different story. And I don't think so he was supposed to do this. And what happened with him, it is also a very shameful that a chief minister was caught and the security was just pushing and pulling him. And I'm sorry to say this should not happen also. And I don't think so, whatever his words were, Jallianwala Bagh, it's nothing like that. And the people know that this is all a drama by these people, nothing else. Because they always played these emotional words with the people of it.
Okay, Aditya, now let's put in perspective now. We have discussed the history.
Yeah.
You and Colonel Tikku have given a sense of perspective as to what happened. My question to you is, why is Omar Abdullah doing this? One, he's running a stable government. I don't think there is any interference, administrative interference. He has been given a free hand. He enjoys, if I may put it journalistically, a pretty healthy relationship with Prime Minister Modi, Amit Shah, the people who matters, LG, everyone. Why has he done this? Because this is a departure.
Yes. It's a very brilliant question, Karthikeya, to understand why Omar Abdullah is doing this. Now, over the last 6 years, we've seen constant, attack against the separatists, where they have been completely being put into the dustbin of history. Be it Gilani, be it Mirwais, be it Yasin Malik, Shabir Shah, some of them have died already, some are in jail, some fear for their life and are not coming out. For instance, Mirwais. So the soft separatism space has been left out there. So there's a constant battle between the National Conference and the PDP today to grab that space, at least the narrative, at least the soft propaganda that's happening around separatism, And because the space is empty, Omar Abdullah, Farooq Abdullah and others are battling it out with the PDP and others to grab that space. This is one. Second, I'll end with this small anecdote. Recently I was invited to a dialogue with Omar Abdullah. A dear friend of mine had organized it in Delhi, and I was requested if I would like to make a comment or ask a question. So I asked a very basic question. I compared, just like my friend Danesh said, that in 2010, at least 110 or 120 innocent boys died in clashes with the police, with the paramilitary in Srinagar and adjoining areas. It was not like today, when there are no clashes happening, there is no stone pelting, there are no, there's no violence after the Friday prayers. So I told Omar, just give me an empirical analysis. You want police, you want security to be under the Chief Minister. That means under Omar Abdullah. But how would you try to convince the larger public in Jammu and Kashmir and all across India that you would provide a safe zone for the common Kashmiris or civilians, when under your rule in 2010 there was complete hartal, there were no schools that were open, there were innocent civilians who were dying, and today there is not even a single civilian who has died. There is not even a single hartal that has happened. There is no Band at Lal Chowk. There are no schools and universities that are shut. So the larger debate is also around the security.
So, but then what is the politically gaining? Colonel Tikku is the Chief Minister. The PDP has not done well. Sometimes you do take these steps when you are like pushed to a corner. Politically, you take like for example the Thackeray brothers. Since they do not enjoy that political space, it's been taken over by BJP. So okay, they have taken a strong position on language. What I don't understand is that he's the one who's running the government. So why is he taking a position which I expect some leader in opposition would do so to gain political mileage? Colonel.
That is precisely my objection to what he is. After all, he is a constitutionally recognized. He is occupying a constitutional post, and that too of a Chief Minister. And there is a legal order. It's a constitutionally approved order which the governor has issued. The point, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, it's an order which is upheld by the constitutional law of India. And he as a Chief Minister is not expected to violate it. And that too in this dramatic manner. But let me tell you one thing. This whole family, leaving Sheikh Abdullah aside, Sheikh Abdullah had he worked in a different environment altogether. But National Conference after Sheikh Abdullah's demise has held on to power by indulging in complete and total dramatics. And it is because of this reason they have joined hands with Marxists, they have joined hands with Indira Gandhi, they have joined hands with Johnson, they have joined hands with BJP. They are everywhere. As long as they can protect their chair, they can go to any extent. There are no principles involved in their governance or in their policies. Okay. Now, second point I want to say is this. What you are seeing here is it's a competitive appeasement of a section, which Aditya said very clearly, that there is a soft separatist element which is still surviving, and it is to appeal to them. And Omar Abdullah knows very well that Mehbooba Mufti is breathing down his neck, and so he might lose power because people are not happy with him, despite the fact that he won a big majority. But that is because Kashmiris have always been waylaid. They don't see too far. They see only till a certain distance, and beyond that they don't see, and they get this family back. And now I am not surprised that our two co-panelists here are saying that this is a drama. If Kashmiris have understood this is a drama, it is for them to consign them to the dustbins of history, because they have brought tragedy and harm to Kashmir.
Danesh, don't you think that this is going to create administrative issues? Chief Minister fighting with the people who are supposed to be tools assisting him to deliver welfare, security arrangements. And if you contest, do you think that is he departing from the mainstream politics which his father was doing, and catering to a more hardline section? Is he making a shift? Politicians do that some. Is he making a shift?
No, Karthikeya, I'll tell you something which would probably make more sense to this question, which is that you, a little while ago, you said that Omar has very comfortable relationship with Prime Minister. He's running a very smooth government. Yes, he of course is running very smoothly. He doesn't want any trouble. But what we have to understand is that there's very little in his hands. Security is not in his hands. services like IPS and IAS are not in his hands, law and order are not in his hands. And now, since the last order on the KS transfers, the local officers, the Kashmir, since the transfer of those officers, we've also seen that these transfers are not even in the hands of Umar, not because the Prime Minister or the Home Minister has any kind of contempt for Umar, but because this is what the UT arrangement is like, you know. The reason that Omar Abdullah is doing it now is because there's an ongoing criticism in the political class of Kashmir that Omar Abdullah has actually backtracked from his campaign promises. In the campaign, he never said, in the campaign promises, Kartikeya, he never said that he is going to give a very clean government, he is going to make the city smarter. That's something that the LG government had done.
I think you made a very important point. You know, I've really run short of time. Sujata, is it because to press home the point for statehood? You know, is it all going in that direction, fuller statehood demand?
Yeah, it is a kind of statehood because he has promised in his public, and he has already committed in his manifesto also that we will bring the statehood, which is not happening till, which is 1.5 years now completed, and he is not able to deliver that. And that is the one more minus point for him, that he is not able to do anything. Just now the Danish said that the jobs or transfers are not with him, IPS, IS, and even himself he said that the administration is not listening to us. It means he is somehow he is suffering because of that. And today whatever happened, it should not. There should be a proper way of doing it, and I don't think so he was supposed to do it, but definitely I am with this that he is somehow trying to play on the statehood level, so which is not able to happening, and it's like drama type going on.
You know, the dramas in politics. Thank you all of you for joining. But you know, dramas in politics work. You know, till they don't disturb the larger piece of the state. And I would only say at the end of it that everyone has the right to cultivate, create, and consolidate the political constituency. But it should not come at the cost of the peace and security of the state. So thank you all of you for joining me. This was all I had on point one. But don't go away. On the second on point, we're going to talk about these lovely snacks called samosas, pakoras and jalebis. And are they equal to tobacco? Maybe, but after a short break.
Associate sponsor, Dyna Premium Beauty Soap. Pehli jhalak kare खूबसूरत. It's never easy to choose a new path, stand out in the crowd, to have your own new identity. The